Carnotaurus is the most infamous ambush predator of the Isle. A freight train on two legs capable of hunting down every living creature in Gateway. A beast whose very steps shake the world around him, echoing in a rhythmic beat of predatory premeditation. As a full-grown hunting machine, we laid claim to the northern territories surrounding Northlake, challenging anyone and everyone who dared set foot within our lands. The world favored us, each hunt and every kill, reaffirming our place atop the food chain, an apex predator few could hope to challenge. But before we could sit atop the world, we first had to survive the darkness of youth. We were born out in the southern plains of West Rail alone. Our first instinct was to leave these overpopulated lands immediately. We ran and ran, heading east ever further, eventually reaching the swamplands on the fringes of starvation. It was here in these shadowed lands we hoped to find our first meal. The swamps were often littered with small animals, or carcasses of the recently deceased. As we descended further into the swamp's abyss, we picked up the scent of a fresh meal, a drowned stegosaurus partially eaten by baby Deinosuchus. A perfect first meal to fill our bellies and give us the delicious nutrients we needed to boost our growth. We continued heading east after that. Our destination was a small pond on the southeast side of the Isle, a place perfect for a vulnerable young creature to grow in peace, with little chance of ambushes. On our way across the swamps, a young omniraptor decided to test his luck. This Omni would be the last player we would see until we reached our full growth stage. After filling our stomach on him and the local AI, we crossed the Delta and made it to our destination. A paradise of easy water, free food, and not a single soul to challenge our existence. We lived peacefully and free until the day we were ready to begin hunting. Then we made our way north up the eastern coastline, following the water's edge, until we came to an old place known as Radio Tower. A new tunnel had recently been added, and we decided to follow the concrete's path down to a little place known as the docks, which normally was a place of abandon. But lately, we've heard rumors it's filled with life. We barely noticed the galley run past the corner of our vision, only realizing what we saw when we finally registered hearing the footsteps flying by. We barreled after him at full charge, unknown if we even had the speed to catch the beast. When we finally did, it was too late for the galley to make a difference. A beautifully executed first hunt for a brilliant new tunnel Carno. We relaxed in the confines of our new enclosure, and maybe enjoyed ourselves a little too much.
Welcome to my shop. We have all of the best prices. You can get a heart or a lung for a left arm or a limb. We even have intestines. Would you like some intestines?
We'd spent all night in our little tunnel home, enjoying our feast to our heart's content. Before continuing on our journey, we stopped and refreshed ourselves at a local river. By the time we got to the fields of North Lake, the sun was already shining its golden rays down across the world, making it really easy to spot our next mark.
Okay, we got a mire or something over there. Okay, it's coming over this way.
We attempted to stalk him quietly. To get close enough for a powerful first surprise hit, we would need to take this fight very carefully, if we had any chance to take down such a large, powerful opponent. Our charge barely had any effect on this overgrown lawnmower. We were going to be forced to bleed it out over a long period of time. We needed to pace ourselves and keep the Maya panicked and moving. The faster his heart was beating, the more mistakes he would make, and the more opportunities we could create for ourselves.
I don't really know Carnotech, you know? Especially against a Maya like this. I'm just winging it. Yeah, get him running, get him running. Question is he still bleeding?
Our battle raged on long into the day, the shadows shrinking and growing with the passing of the sun. Slowly, we were learning how to move around this large beast, in this battle of endurance and wits. We had to keep reminding ourselves to be patient, Or else this may have been our last hunt. Our battle teetered like a seesaw as we continued to play mind games with the Maya, attempting to open up his wounds and get him chasing us to bleed him out, or stam him out, just a little bit faster. But our strategy was a two-way sword, slowly draining us of our ability to endure. He was finally reaching his breaking point after nearly an hour-long battle. He laid down behind a rock and was quickly punished for his attempt to combat log. The Maya's actions completely changed at this point. It was no longer a creature fighting for territory and survival, but a scared rat trying to make the quickest escape. But what could we do? We were also on the edge of exhaustion, far past the point of easy stamina regeneration. We just had to persist and keep trying to create opportunities. When we heard him refilling his water, we made a bad decision, and instead of pressuring him further, we stopped to get a drink of water ourselves. By the time we got back and realized, he'd already been laying down for a while. We rushed him and attempted to stop his combat log. But he soon vanished from this world, leaving behind not a shred of evidence a battle of titans had ever occurred here.
That's crazy. What can you do? Dude combat logged on me. Actually crazy. GG, Maya. GG.
We took out our failed hunt frustrations on the local AI nearby and refilled our growling bellies with their delicious meats. After fully recovering from our overly long engagement, we'd returned to the field surrounding North Lake in search of another hunt. Omni spotted. The scared fella found refuge atop the Connex box at the abandoned human settlement, but had nowhere else to go. We pretended to leave and stashed ourselves behind a large bush, watching his movements closely through the breakage in the foliage.
Persistence is the key.
Unfortunately, we weren't patient enough with our second attempt and made it so the Omni would be able to return to his little Connex box, where he too promptly logged out of the game to avoid being eaten. Which meant another AI meal for the large Carnotaurus, controlling the northern territories. It was getting late for us in the real world, so we belted out one last challenge into the darkness and waited. But no one arrived. We went to sleep unsatisfied, but tomorrow was always a new day. When we finally returned, the sun was shining brightly across our world, and the northern fields were bustling with noise. As we made our way across these hills, a lonely Packy's call caught our attention. We hunkered down into the bushes, unsure if he had spotted us, and began trailing him from a great distance. If it was us, we'd have spotted the giant Carno on the hill a long time ago. We lost sight of the Packy right at the bridge crossing, but moved in cautiously anyways. It was likely we could pick up a trail or possibly find him lurking in the nearby bushes. The Packy suddenly ran out from behind a rock as we started sprinting across the bridge. We weren't sure who was ambushing who anymore, but the fight raged on anyways. Huge blunder when we gave the Packy a height advantage by dropping down onto these lower rocks, allowing him a clean headbutt onto our skull, fracturing our vigil. Had he taken this opportunity to run away, he probably would have survived. But instead he fell victim to our swinging bite, that would soon fill our stomachs with another glorious meal. We suffered pretty serious injuries in our fight with the Packy. Both the head and body fracture would make it difficult to protect ourselves, so we ate all the bits that could be stolen from the body, and then left it to rest off our wounds in the nearby bushes. When we finally were strong enough to move freely once again, we'd devour the rest of our Packy meal, stop at the nearby river to refresh ourselves, and then made our way back out into our territories around the lake to see what we could find. One of the first things we found while searching our lands was a young Dilo hiding atop a rock, and a young feisty Troodon with a Napoleon complex. The poor guy didn't even have his venom yet. We also spotted a pretty sizable Carno in the nearby hills. We attempted to gauge him by dancing, but given his non-reaction, we were worried he had ill intent or was possibly hunting in our lands. We escorted him all the way out of North Lake, leaving him when he disappeared among the trees on the horizon. And when we returned to our fields, we spotted a distracted Omni looking at our young Dilo friend. Unfortunately, this body ended up glitching, and we were unable to eat it or any of its juicy organs inside. So we left, refreshed ourselves at our drinking hole, and then on our way back into the fields, we spotted another lonely Omni breaking the horizon with his silhouette sitting atop a lonely rock. We hunkered down in ambush and waited for him to jump down. And when he finally did, we would use the sound of the rain to hide our encroaching footsteps, and the crest of the hill to hide our body, as we made our way in, carefully. Our ambush was so successful that the scared Omni immediately forfeited. His body would sustain us deep into the night. We weren't expecting to see anyone when we went down to the river for a drink, but to our surprise, we managed to sneak up on a young Carno, one we almost mistook for a Tenno. We greeted him softly, but the sound of our voice nearly sent him stumbling into the water. His name was Alberto, and he only spoke Spanish, so communication wasn't going to be easy between us. But even so, he asked us to be amigos, and we took him under our wing, and our solo journey wrote its last chapter there on the banks of the river.
And so we've made a friend.
We set out across the northern river banks as we showed our new friend our territory, keeping a watchful ear open for the sounds of nearby prey. The calls of nearby Packies and Dilos drove us deeper into the forests on the hunt. A simple kill, and enough food to fill Alberto's nutrients to give him the final boost to his full-growth state he needed. This pack even came with a couple of bonus eggs, which is always a nice reward. We devoured our meal peacefully in the hillsides and ventured down to the river to get a refreshment. We'd be spending the rest of our day relaxing by the Delta Falls, launching the bridge in ambush. It wouldn't be till later that night when we finally caught wind of a nearby Omnipack. It took some time to pinpoint their location across the water, but when we finally did, we moved in slowly towards the pack of 4 or 5 Omniraptors. We're not sure if they saw us coming and unwisely chose to stand their ground on the bridge, or if they simply made an untimely crossing and met the full force of a charging freight train head on. What we do know is that we tore through their pack, causing severe damage to every single one of them as they stood up next in line for their ride. We let the rest of the pack slip away into the woods, since we'd already claimed our kill, and we saw no reason to continue the hunt. We only realized after finishing our meal that this Omni had eggs as well. But before we could enjoy our prize, a pair of Carnotaurus challenged our right to the bridge. Personally, if I'm not almost starving, I choose to run away from Sarah's. Fighting them always results in everyone having a bad time, even if we came out the victor. They followed us for a long while, their calls echoing through the shadows of the forest, until we finally lost them, slipping into a low divot on the forest edge, under the cover of night. We waited there until we were absolutely sure they were gone. Only when the night grew so dark that we could barely see 5 feet ahead did we finally start to move. That's when we heard it. The bushes in front of us began to shake. An omniraptor unwittingly ran out directly in front of us, switching back on our predator instincts. We chased him around endlessly in the pit of darkness, tracking him only by the sound of his feet. He would continue to elude us long until the sun came up. But that's when things got even trickier. As soon as he could, he jumped over the cliff's edge and swam across the river. By the time we were able to get across, he was already safely on a rock, far outside of our reach. We pretended to leave slowly, trying to bait him off the rock to give this hunt one last chance. And he took it. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough to claim him. This time, we left him alone, refilled our water by the river's edge. And then made our way inland through the bushes. We spotted another Omni on a rock, but we were pretty sure he had spotted us long before we spotted him. That's when we noticed a pair of Dilos coming down. We were also distracted by the Omni on the rock. We made our move before they could finish looking around. With just a little bit of friendly fire, we managed to take down the 2 Dilos and claim victory in the mid-plains. And while their venom still worked its way through our veins, we enjoyed a worry-free meal all the same. Alberto, however, was a little uneasy about the venom and the local Omnis, so we waited with him in the bushes until our vision finally cleared. But what we saw when it returned wasn't good. A full-grown trike was marching straight toward our position, and trikes are notorious for two things: guarding bodies from predators and mix packing. At first, we were ready to walk away, to give up the rest of our meal. But then a third Carno appeared. We called out to him, and he joined us. With the three of us working together, we might actually stand a chance against this colossal foe. So we put on a brave face and started to toy with the overgrown beast. We approached the scene cautiously. One wrong step here could have meant the end of everything. We stopped to take a quick drink from the river when a tiny Omni attacked us out of nowhere. The alarm bells should have been ringing here, but it wasn't until we reapproached the trike that we saw it. A Landino, and he was friends with the trike and Omni. Like we said, trikes are no good. They're the hallmark of a mixed-packing herd, and should always be avoided. If you ever find yourself face to face with a trike, just walk away. Go somewhere else. But we didn't take our own advice. We kept poking and prodding until the beast poked back. That's when we decided it was time to disengage and make space. But the ugly little trike kept following us everywhere we went, giving us no peace. We thought we finally got away when we went south to the river to drink. Thought we could finally hunt and eat in peace. We even spotted an unlucky Sarah alone in the bushes. We finished him off on the banks of the sandbar, where we could sit down to relax, recover, and eat our fill. Alex would scout out the other side of the island for us to see if he could spot the mix pack coming. We were completely at ease. That's when we heard a rustle in the trees. It until the crest of the trike's head parted the foliage, and every fiber of our being started to scream. When we turned our head to check our escape, we saw it was far too late for that. Out of the water lunged the Dino so fast, clutching Alberto tightly in his death grip. We flailed against the Dino fiercely, doing everything we could to save our friend Alberto. But the trike was coming, and if we didn't get off that island immediately, it would only be a matter of time until we were next. We took off running after Alberto submerged beneath the waves to meet up with Alex, only to see him fighting against another piece of the mixed pack. Their size had grown to 2 trikes, 1 dibble, and a Dinosuchus steed. Reunited with Alex, we'd finally leave the Midlands completely, leaving behind the lands of the Mixpacker to return to our northern territories around North Lake. The memories of our failure to save Alberto would continue to haunt us as we migrated away. After a long, somber migration north, we ended up walking hazily into water access, following the scent of food.
Oh, that one's Ryan, I guess. Oh, is it Ryan?
This one is rotten, yeah.
Yeah, that one's Ryan.
There's more food over here too. Oh, I found Tenos, 2 of them.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Babies?
No, full grown. Full grown Tenos. Oh, and a Dillo. Is that a mix pack? That's a mix pack.
Omni. Is that a Dillo or an Omni?
It's a Dillo.
We managed to kill the Dilo pretty easily before turning our attention to the Tenos. There was rage in our hearts still from losing Alberto, so patience and survival were an afterthought to our bloodlust.
Alright, the one on the right is more injured, I believe. He's got the wounds. I need to get a little bit of stamina. I'm gonna walk a bit.
Same.
Alright, got some good hits there.
Yeah. Got me twice.
Uh-oh. Oh, I'm in a bad spot. Woo! I'm out.
I got both of them.
Just be careful. I need to check my HP. Orange.
Orange. Same here.
Ooh, good one there.
Shit! I'm dead.
GG.
I got stuck.
When Alex died, after reuniting the Tenos together, we saw the curtain call. The finality of the clock ticking away as we fought tooth and nail to try and change our fate. But we had already made our final decision, and fate had made theirs in turn. In the end, All that was left was to face it. Thank you everyone for being here, and if you enjoyed this journey, consider leaving a like. If you want to see more stories through our eyes, be sure to subscribe. Until next time, take it easy.